Alright, I'm not sure how well this video will come out, but I'm going to be replacing this light switch with a combo outlet light switch. Alright, and this outlet I believe is rated for 15 amps, so you want to make sure that you have the proper wire gauges. I actually went a little bit thicker, so this is 12 gauge wire. In theory you can be fine with 14 gauge wire, which is a little bit thinner. And then I use the solid. One thing with this though, this is going to be an issue, is they're using aluminum wire, and yeah, I'm not an electrician, I'm not going to be pulling wires all the way up through the attic and everything, but there's a few things I'm doing here that are kind of risky and scary. First of all, this because this is like a, what do you call, not really a apartment complex, but it's like a shared housing kind of close by. So this, we don't actually have access to the breaker for this, so the only way I can do this is when it's live. So I actually already disconnected the hot wire and I wrapped it with tape. I used a screwdriver. Actually, this one I didn't need to use a screwdriver because it had, let me see if I can show you. So it had one of these little push holes where you get a tool in there. So basically you get a tool in here and you kind of push, and you have to kind of like pry it, and then you can pull that wire out. It doesn't come out easily. It might help if you have someone else to hold it for you, but if you're working on something hot, you want to be very careful if other people are there, because if you guys like join and touch something hot and ground and multiple other like another wire or something metal that will ground you, then you're going to get electrocuted. So you don't want to try and avoid introducing too many extra outside things if you can. If you want, you could even just snip the thing, but make sure you get like some tool that's like rubber. On the outside I actually just wrapped my screwdriver with a bunch of electrical tape. All right, so I got that, and I might actually have to wrap some electrical tape on this one because yeah, I didn't have I used the flathead screwdriver for most of this. So actually I'm gonna get some electrical tape and wrap this up in a bit, but for now I'm gonna show you what we have going on. So the hot wire, because it's just a light switch, basically the hot wire was here, and then this goes up into the light. And so basically when you open it or turn it on, it connects the hot with this, completes the loop. All right, and turn it off. So since they did the wiring already, you can see luckily they have all the wires in here. You have the neutral, you have the ground, which is just a bare wire usually, because the bare wire is allowed to like go and touch everything to go to ground. And then if they have a metal box that's grounded, it'll also ground to there. And it'll ground the whole box. All right, then you have, I don't know why there's red and black. I'm assuming that there's two hots coming out, and I don't want to connect this because sometimes you can actually connect this and make a 240 volt, but depending what they have going on in this electrical, you don't want to like just merge everybody's wires and make them all 240 volt, because whatever they have going on, you might blow it up. So make sure to keep that in mind. All right, so we're just going to stick with using the original setup, which is the black hot, not the red hot one. All right, and then we have the wire going for the light. And yeah, okay, if you have a voltmeter, you can check. I already checked, actually. I shorted that to the ground and I could see like the voltage coming through, so this one, it's not going to electrocute me. Okay, that one's just dead. The new stuff now, everything is copper. You don't want to mix copper and aluminum. It's very important. If you are going to mix copper and aluminum, it's important that you use something like this. So I don't know why like on the outside it's all Spanish, but let me open this up and show you what it is. But basically it's a compound that allows the metals to kind of connect and prevents corrosion, or greatly reduces it so that it won't get corroded. And so here you can see antioxidant. So basically it prevents the aluminum and copper from essentially what you would call like rust, but usually, yeah, they just call it oxidation. All right, so like copper, it'll get like that green stuff on it. If you've seen like anything like the Statue of Liberty, it's copper, it turned green. Aluminum, when it oxidizes, it just turns like not as shiny, it starts turning dull. This stuff, you are supposed to coat it with so you coat the wire, like the end that you're connecting, and then you're supposed to kind of brush it with a wire brush or an emery cloth. But again, I can't turn off the power to this, so I can't be like grabbing the hot wire and just like scrubbing it with those metal tools. So because of that, what I'm gonna do is usually you don't want to multi-use these kind of twist wing nut things, but I'm gonna basically twist it on and like just keep moving it around to kind of work the stuff into there, and then I'm gonna take it off completely and then screw it on differently so it grabs in a different place. All right, and hopefully that will be enough to keep it. Whoever set up this wire before, this is actually a copper wire, and the wires under here are aluminum, and they didn't even bother putting this stuff. But yeah, in the long term, I think it was okay because they just used it for a light switch, and in this storage area the light switch isn't used often, so in that case they got lucky. They didn't have to worry because the two other wires were okay. But here you can see what it tells you: fill the contact surface or connector with compound. So basically you'll be filling in this thing with that, and it will fill that and kind of prevent it from oxidizing or rusting. All right, and there you go. And then it says to wipe off any excess from the insulation, so you don't want it just all over the rubber piece. Probably it will like start eating to that and make it crumbly. But it doesn't say to clean it anything specially, it just says to wipe it off, so maybe it's okay. And also you want to be careful because this can cause birth defects or other reproductive harm. And yeah, all right, let me tape up my screwdriver and I'll be back to set this stuff up. All right, so here we go. I wrapped this thing all up with electrical tape. Let's go ahead and remove this wire. So this is, again, this one is just for the light switch. It completes the circuit to light switch, and it's not connected really to anything else. It just closes the loop with the hot. Though sometimes these are like looped with other things, but usually not, because then otherwise if you turn that on, it's not going to go to anything else. So I mean, if you turn it off, sorry, then you won't have any power to the other things. So if it is, it's usually like a bunch of other lights, but I don't think these are connected to anything else on the line. So there we go, we have that. And we got the wire switch, or the light switch. The one thing with this, they do tell you to use it with copper and not aluminum. So here you can see, they put Cu, which is copper, and then let me see where you say Cu and CLAD only. Where's the thing that said, oh, here you go. So on the bottom here you can see it says Cu and it's circled, and then Al is crossed out. So they don't want you to use aluminum here because it will cause some corrosion inside with this. So keep that in mind. If you are using that, you do need that compound to prevent it from getting bad over time. All right, so you got these two, and if you look on the back here, they actually say this is the common. So the reason it's common is because these two are joined together with this metal piece, and this is actually where you would put the hot. All right, and if you look at the switch, the hot is the smaller one. It's always the smaller one. The ground is here, and then this one is the neutral. All right, the bigger one. So basically you would have the hot coming in to both sides, and then it's separated here, so that way you can run the light switch directly just to this one, and then the outlet will have a permanent connection that it won't have to worry whether this switch is on or off. So that's what that's for. If for some reason, well, I guess if you always wanted it on, then you wouldn't use a switch. But yeah, anyway, so that's how that works. And we're going to connect this copper to the aluminum here with that compound, and then we got to get this one, so we can actually put this one in first. And you want to be careful, again, this black wire here, the one wrapped in tape, is hot. So what we're going to do, we're going to get the light switch one over here first. The other thing you want to take note of, right now this loop is going backwards. You want the loop going so that when you tighten this screw, it's going to turn, like, it'll tighten the coil. So we're going to rotate this, and we're going to hook it on this way. I don't know if you guys can see it. I don't know if I'll be able to get a good view. I'll try. But we'll get this thing hooked onto here, okay? And let's see if we can do this without having to bend it back open. And again, there is a hot wire there, so we do have to be careful. We have this bare metal open here. I left the white all the way up on the other side, so that way I don't have to worry about it. But right now we're gonna do this. Oh, I should have brought my needle nose pliers with me because I forgot. I'm gonna have to bend this one over, and I'm also gonna have to try and bend that hot wire. All right, which is gonna be scary, but it is what we gotta do. All right, so this one actually fit in, and now we're gonna use the flathead screwdriver to tighten it on. Again, there's no electricity going to this, so you don't have to worry because we don't have the neutral and we don't have the hot connected at this moment. All right, so we're just gonna now tighten the screw onto, oh wait, I forgot, we do need that compound stuff that I mentioned. So let's get this off, okay. All right, it's gonna be a pain, but gotta do what we gotta do. All right, so let's open this. This is actually my first time using this stuff, but I know that you can't just straight up put aluminum with the copper stuff. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get the stuff on here. Let me put this down because I don't wanna keep knocking that and then risk electrocuting myself. So we're gonna just put some of this stuff here, okay? And wrap it all around here. Okay. Get that goopy stuff there, and then when we go to tighten the screw down, it does have some little teeth usually. Let me see if I can show this here. Actually, oh yeah, so I don't know if you can see that. It has a little bit of teeth that kind of cut into the wire a little to grab it, and that helps with getting a secure connection. So if you want, you can even like put some of that stuff in here. So let me actually do that, and then we'll continue. I did get some on my finger. I don't know, you can wear gloves if you want to make this so you don't get stuff everywhere, but I'm gonna put some of this stuff in here as well, kind of all around. Loop it in there. All right. There we go. Okay, and they do have wire nuts that are designed for this as well, but they're very expensive. I don't know. Anyways, we got this, or not wire nuts, what do you call those? Those, I guess they're called wire, are they called wire nuts? Wire nuts, I guess. All right, so let's get this thing back in, come on. It's being a pain. There we go. All right, and now we're just gonna tighten this on. And I'm gonna need some paper to clean this stuff up, but I mean, you could probably just leave it there, it shouldn't be an issue. Tighten that in. Okay, make sure it's nice and tight. Perfect, so now we got the light switch connected, and then we got the ground, and we got the neutral that we got to get in there. So we can actually put in the neutral as well. And let me see if I can show you guys this, because the neutral one's up there. Let me raise this up and then tilt it down, maybe. That might be a better view. Okay, so we got that. All right, I'm gonna connect the neutral into here, and we gotta move the ground out of the way because we don't wanna short any of that together. The last time I took this wire nut off, or whatever you call it, it sparked, so you do wanna be careful. And I'm gonna have to cut some of this, what do you call? I'm gonna have to cut that stuff off. So we're gonna do, I got all this stuff all over my hands. But anyways, we're gonna cut this off. I'm gonna just check here about approximately how long. That's plenty. So I'm gonna actually cut it a little bit higher than that. And we're gonna cut this. All right, there are proper tools to do this. I'm just using this because I don't have proper wire stripping tools. But basically you wanna just barely cut through the skin here, the wire wrap, and then you can actually slide the thing off. It slides off relatively easy. You do want to also follow the wire code colors if you can, because otherwise the next time someone works on it, they're going to get electrocuted if they don't know what's going on. Okay, so here you can see we stripped that off. Okay, and now we got to pull this thing off. Again, this is a neutral one, and it can put out some power, so you want to be careful. I'm bending the ground out of the way so that we're only going to have to worry about these wires going in there. So if you're trying to pull this off, you have to like pull back as you untwist it, okay, and squeeze it, because there's like a little nut washer screw thingy in there, and a lot of times it kind of gets caught and then doesn't want to come out. So try and twist that. It might not be coming out actually. Come on, let go. Okay, now it's coming up, and it might spark, be careful. So there we go, there's that. This is what the inside looks like. It has this screw texture. All right, so if you want, you can kind of, like the thing said, to fill up the connector here. So I'm gonna pour this stuff in here and just fill that up with goop, all right, just like this, all right. With one wire, it's not gonna be enough, but I'm gonna use this to kind of scrape it up. Use that thing to kind of scrape the edges, just work it around and also get the goop in there, all right. So now that we got that, we can actually connect this piece, all right. So I'm gonna rotate it because I do want the light switch facing up. All right, so we're gonna rotate this, and we gotta be careful again with the grounding wire. All right, so we're gonna now touch this here. It might spark, hopefully not. Okay, no sparks, good. So we got that. And okay, so I guess that, because it's not connected to anything, is good. So we can put this gloopy stuff on it. It's not gonna electrocute me, is it? Okay, I'm gonna avoid doing it this way on the live wires. I'm just gonna fill up that twisty thing and hopefully it'll be good enough. All right, so we got that. We're gonna get this. I'm gonna use this wire to kind of goop it onto everything, and then we're just gonna twist this thing on top, okay? And this thing basically screws down on top and connects all of those with the teeth of those screws. So we're just gonna twist it and try and get it all the way tightened. And you'll actually feel when it stops, like the wires will twist and then it doesn't keep going. So there we go. So that should be good. You can't pull that out. And normally, as you saw, people will like twist the wires together so that you get a better solid connection. All right, so we're gonna move the live wire now out of the way here, over here. And then now let's go ahead and do the ground one. You're not gonna have any issues touching the ground, so don't worry about that. We're gonna remove this. Keep in mind though, now we're removing the ground from the entire system that has these connected. So if you're having people messing with stuff electrical, you want to be very careful. Okay. So I'm pinching this and twisting, and it's kind of tough to get this off. Come on, let go. This one really doesn't want to come off. I don't know. Am I going to be able to get it out? This is in the way, sorry. Let's get that further down. Yeah, I don't know why this one is having such a tough time coming off. Come on, let go. Pinching it and pulling, trying to get this thing off. It's not going anywhere. So they must have tightened this too much and damaged the thing that grips it. So I gotta pinch it probably much harder. And let's see. Huh, it's not coming off. Okay, I think is it coming out at all? No? This thing's not coming out at all. I don't know what's going on here. I'm trying. If anybody knows what I'm doing wrong, let me know. I don't know if these just need to be snipped off, but yeah, I don't know what's going on with this one. It doesn't want to, like, if I twist it, it just feels like it's skipping. Pull harder and twist more. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Does it twist on more? Nope, this one's like completely stuck here. So I'm not too sure what we're gonna do here. I can't get this ground off. I don't know if I can get that in without, what does it look like in there? Let me see if I can get a close up. Let me wash my hands real quick and I'll be back. Alright, let's see if we can see anything in there. I don't know. Can't really see inside of there. I won't even focus on it. Come on, there we go. I might be able to just shove it in there and tighten it. I'll see if I can do that. If not, we're gonna have to see how we can get that off. I don't know why it's stuck so strong. Alright, let me put the camera back on here and see what we can see. Okay, I don't know what I'm recording. Yeah, I don't know why this one doesn't want to come off at all. It's pretty crazy. I don't know if it's even turning. I need some better lighting here. Maybe I should try with the camera as a flashlight and see if I see anything spinning here. I don't know. I think the teeth aren't gripping properly. Can it tighten on more? No. It doesn't even really tighten on more, so I don't know what's going on with this. It doesn't come out at all. I don't know what I'm gonna do here. Let me grab some pliers and I'll be back. Alright, I'm back. I got some pliers. If we can't get this out and worst comes to worst, we're gonna have to yeah, pretty much snip that off, and then I'm gonna have to buy a new one of this piece to attach. But let's see. Is squeezing this with pliers gonna help at all, please? It feels different twisting it. Is it coming out though? Okay, I think it's coming off now. So I had to squeeze that with pliers to get the screw to kind of grip better. And as you can see, the rubber outside is okay, so we don't have to worry. Oh yeah, and here you can see the live wires peeking through. Okay, so again, now we have the, what do you call here? We have these wires and the copper one. And again, usually you don't want to mix the two types of metals because of the way they react with each other and oxidize. So that's why we need to add that black goopy stuff. So let's go ahead and put the black goopy stuff again. Put this here. Put that in here. Okay. Goopy stuff. It's not black, it's actually like a gray. And we'll put some again inside of this. Okay. There we go. And again, I'm going to screw it on and off a little bit, a few times to kind of get it to scrape the materials, since we don't have the ability to do a wire brush, otherwise we might get electrocuted. So we're going to do that, scrape it up a bit, pull it out, screw it back on. Alright, and let's just now screw this back on completely. Okay, I can feel the wires getting good. Alright, and actually I might have to twist these together because I think it's not grabbing this, as you can see. So in this case, we're gonna have to take this back off, and I'm gonna twist them together with the pliers. So let me grab this again and use that to pinch it and untwist it. Okay, so now let's go ahead and try and like twist these wires together. Let's see, how can I do this all at once? So grab this and we're gonna twist them. And twist this guy. Sorry if you can't really see what I'm doing. Hopefully you can. But I'm basically just twisting these wires together. Okay. Okay. Now, hopefully that will hold them all in place, so you don't need to worry about it. Alright, and now we'll twist this guy on there. And usually it's a good idea to replace these whenever you do this, but I don't have any other spare ones on hand. Alright, keep twisting this. I can feel it clicking. Alright, usually that's a good sign. Now if we pull this, it's in there solid. These wires aren't coming out. Alright, and I can actually feel it twisting itself backwards. Okay, so we got all of that in. Next, the other thing is we're going to have to make sure to bend these all to fit them all in here. So that might be a little bit of a challenge because there's a lot of wiring. Right now there's nothing here. We're going to put this in the off switch position. Alright, and now we just got to get the hot wire there. Oh, I didn't bring my needle nose pliers. Let me get those. We're going to bend this, and then we're gonna install that, and we should be good to go. Might be some sparks, we'll see. It's actually off, but so there actually shouldn't be sparks when we connect this. The reason being is this switch is off, so nothing is connected here, and because nothing is plugged in here, it shouldn't be getting power over. So in theory, if we move this, the only danger is while we're bending it, because we're touching the floor, that if you don't have enough insulation from the ground, electricity can pass from this into you and into the ground. Anyways, let me go get the pliers. You want to make sure it's insulated. If you want, you can wear some more heavy gloves, but if you're able to turn off your breaker, most cases people are, then do that. All right, so let me get the needle nose pliers and I'll be back. All right, we're on the final step now, the dangerous part. Let's unwrap the live wire here. Okay, get that off. All right, and you want to be careful. You don't want to touch this wire and touch the metal over here. If you're touching anything, you want to be very careful, because now that that's there, if you touch two metal or two conductive surfaces, you're completing a circuit to the ground and you're going to get yourself electrocuted, or you might be completing the circuit to the rest of it. So be very careful. This thing, the outside should be okay to grab here, right? I'm not really an electrician, so I can't say for sure. Anyways, we're gonna cut a little more of the thing off here, because for me to wrap it around, I need it to be about this much of my finger. And this is, actually it's pretty close. I think we're okay. All right, let's go ahead now and coil this around. So since I'm gonna be, how would I be connecting this way? So we're gonna rotate it that way, okay? I'm not gonna get electrocuted, right? Okay, no, we're good. All right, so we'll grab this. We're gonna roll it. We need to put this up. I'm gonna roll this. Actually, maybe I should have taken off a little bit of the thing there. Yeah, let's cut back a little bit of this. And you can see we don't actually get electrocuted from it, so we should be okay. I'm gonna cut back about that little. And you gotta be careful while cutting this and rotating this. You're not gonna, don't touch anything metal, of course, again. So I'm gonna just cut this, and hopefully that was enough. Did I cut it? Okay, it's coming through, but not completely. I didn't cut on this side. No. All right, let's see if we can push this up. And actually, I think even if you touch this wire, you're okay, because it's not completing a circuit. But don't do it. Don't do it to test it, all right? All right, anyways, let's go ahead and rotate this. Because I did like touch this, you can see I'm not getting electrocuted. So unless somebody turned off the power or something, then, but I don't have a way to turn that off, so I don't know. All right, so we'll see. If the light switch works, then nobody turned it off, and it's just, that's it. All right, so there we go. Again, you should be okay to touch here. Let's see if we touch that. You can see nothing happens. If we touch this and turn the light switch on, it should turn on. Yep. So we do have live power here. You don't want to grab that. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get this on. You can see I'm not getting electrocuted touching this part, so we're okay. And we got this in. There we go. Next, we got to tighten in the screw and we're good to go. So in theory, I didn't even need to wrap my screwdriver, as long as I'm just being careful not to touch two at once. You saw that? I almost dragged my screwdriver down to the, well, if I touch it on the ground, it's fine. It's only if I like hit both at the same time that will have an issue. So this one is copper to copper, so I'm not worried about it. I'm just gonna screw that in. Okay. The previous person that did this, they put this little copper strand of wire here to put this light switch. So I'm gonna have to actually take this out, the hot, and I'm gonna have to add some of that goop there to make sure in the long run it's gonna be okay. So let's go ahead and take that out. Okay, and we gotta be careful again. These are all hot wires. Okay, so untwist that. Come on. Come on, unscrew. All right. There we go. So as you can see, whoever did this before, they put this new copper piece with these aluminum. You don't want that. So we're gonna put this goop stuff to protect the thing from corrosion. Okay, so we'll get this in here, and we'll get this in here. All right, so protect all of that from the oxidation. Get some over here as well. And then we're gonna fill up this little thing as well. Get that in there, good. Again, I don't have a thing to scrape this and it's live, so I don't wanna grab some sandpapery stuff and try and scrub that by hand. So here we go, we're gonna get this back in. We're gonna twist that back together. You do wanna make sure the wires don't come out after you twist this on. We're good. So now if I yank this, it's all good. And let's test the lights again. And it's good. Lights are on, off. So now we turned the one power switch into a power switch with an outlet. And now we just got to shove everything back in the hole. Hopefully it all fits, because we did add a lot more wiring. So yeah. Also, these cables are pretty stiff, so yeah, they're not those limp noodles. You gotta make sure to kind of like jam them all in there. Okay, the other thing with this, so again, this is a live circuit. You don't want to like grab both sides of this. You're gonna get yourself electrocuted. Normally, again, you would turn off the power. You wouldn't leave it live, but again, we have no access to the panel for this. So we're gonna now tighten this up so that we have more room inside here. It's not sticking out, taking up valuable space. All right, and you do want to be careful. This is live. Don't touch these two together. This is the hot, the other one's the ground. You're gonna explode. All right, and there we go. Now we just gotta figure out how to get all of this back in there with the extra added wire that we got. Bend all of this stuff. Again, be careful not to touch the hot side if you're gonna touch the ground. The ground is this bare metal one. All right, and are we gonna be able to get all this wiring in here? That's the question. I don't know. In theory, I mean, technically we only added an extra 14-inch of this copper wire. You can see it's curling in. All right, looks like we should be good. Push all of that in. Push this in. All right, and yeah, this wire is like pretty stiff. I think we're gonna have to like fold it up a certain way to get it to go in. Okay, just like that, and just like that. Okay, so we're getting this whole box is fitting in here now. We got to get the screws in. The screws go into this junction box, and then we should be good. All right, let's get these screws back in. All right, so we'll just line this up. It might be easier with a Phillips screwdriver, but everything uses this flathead, so I'm just gonna see if I can just do it all with the flathead. Okay, so we'll get that. Get that in, tighten it in. And hopefully it's going. Oh, it's not actually going. Okay, let's try. There we go. Alright, so now this is actually holding itself there. Now we gotta get the bottom one in, if I can see down there. Where's the hole? There it is. Okay. Sorry, I have trouble finding the hole sometimes. Let's go ahead and finish getting this screwed in all the way. Okay. And then push that in more. Okay. There we go. Now we'll just tighten this in all the way till it's flush. Also, because we replaced the light switch, you do want to get a replacement cover here, because it's not going to use the light switch cover. It now uses a outlet cover. Alright, so we'll finish tightening this in. It's going crooked. Can we fix that? The wires back there are kind of pushing up on it, so we'll see. But there we go. It's almost flush to the wall. That's what we want. Here, same thing. Get it flush to the wall. Alright. Now we're in business. You might want to adjust it a little bit if you can, but it looks like that's just how that junction box is. We picked up one of these. I forgot how much this was. It was like less than $10, I think, or less than 15. And this thing was like less than 50 cents. It was like 40 something cents. So we'll get this on. And then hopefully, if it's flush enough to the wall, then this should fit nicely. Let's see. Okay. So there we go. And now we have light switch and an outlet. Nice. Alright. I'm going to actually tighten it a little more. You can see it's a little bit loose there. So let's take this back off and tighten it up a tiny bit more. Alright. Come on. Let go. Tighten this a little bit more. Get it flush there. Okay. You don't want to over tighten it. Just enough to where it's like holding against the wall. And then we can get this guy in. Alright. Now you have an outlet and the light switch. You didn't lose any functionality, but you gained. Perfect. I do need to clean this off because some of that goopy stuff was on my fingers, but yeah, now we got that. It's still a little loose, but we can't really do anything about that. Alright, see you guys later. Hope it helped. Hopefully you guys are able to install one of these yourself, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye. Alright, and here it is finished. We have this plugged in. Obviously this is only a 15 amp outlet, so you can only charge up, or you can only pull up to 12 amps continuously. To be safe, you can actually lower that, but there you go. And it's working. There you go. Got it all set up.